This guy is, I mean, look at this throw. I mean, he's on the 30, what is that, the 32? That's not human. Throwing on the 32-yard line. This son of a bitch ends up throwing it to the 2. Like, somebody do math out there for me. That seems like that seems like a hell of a long ways. And he's backing up to his left. I think I got the copy here. By the way, I am well aware that on the screen there's kind of a silhouette of me taking the picture of the screen. That's because I'm not very smart and don't have great lighting in here, but I'll figure it out, guys. Trust me. Watch this though. I mean, there's some things you can't teach. So, first of all, let's start with this. And just talk about offensive line, how we need to this quarterback. You might beat their center and their left guard and their right guard, but you're not going to bull rush. Okay. Now, historically with the Colts, for whatever reason, for the last 7 years, you can bull rush the absolute hell out of their tackles. I think these guys are the exact same. I'm feeling really good about bull rushing the hell out of that right tackle. I mean, the way that he just said, I think Rashawn Gary, if he sets like that on Rashawn Gary doesn't have multiple quarterback hits. I don't know if he can take this guy down with one arm, but if he doesn't have multiple quarterback hits, I would be absolutely shocked because that is a terrible pass set. And he's just begging to get bull rushed. Watch this, though. I mean, I know everybody's seen it. Here's the thing I didn't even notice it until I'm watching the tape. The dude that's running is over on the outside. He's like the numbers on the far right when he throws this ball. He throws it so damn far that he ends up on the other side of the field, another 30 yards downfield. I mean, this is just he's looking to his right and just says, what the hell? I'll just chuck it over here. Look where that guy's coming from. Oh, my God, that was amazing. Okay, so then this is just a casual, like, this is men's league throw. So what I mean by men's league throw is like, you're out on your Saturday and you got Uncle Rico out there who knew he could just gone pro, and he's just whipping it around the yard. You're like, there's always that one dude who's like, man, that guy's really good. He played pro or something. He's just whipping the ball around. They got that smaller ball he can throw a little bit further. This guy, he looks like he's just making some men's league throws against these kids, man. That's a casual 60-yard pass. It's just a super casual 60-yarder. So they go motion to trips, and you see the Texans back. They just get further and further away because they know it's already been burned a couple times. So this play should not have worked. So he hasn't thrown the ball on time. He hasn't really thrown the ball to the right guy. And because he's got such a rocket, like it works. Well, I shouldn't say that. Like he's out-arming the rules of everybody else. The rules of everybody else say that you can't throw this late because of what's coming. And he manages to do it. And they take another 1 yard. I mean, so what's happening is these defenses are going like, I think we were pretty sound there. What happened? Man, he fit it in somehow because he's got an absolute cannon. This is the real question of the game. We didn't generate anything of a pass rush. This is not the Eagles line, though. But we did not generate a pass rush last week. I do think our defensive ends will generate a pass rush. I don't know if we have anybody on the interior that can generate a pass rush consistently. Carl Brown might get there someday. You think Kenny would do it, but he's been playing in that other defense for so long. How do you pressure these guys? So if you have rush lane and gap responsibilities, then whatever gap that you leave open, this guy's a gone. He's a goner. So they all go kind of rush straight, and then we got the defensive tackle rushing over the left guard to the center, really just to try to take two so they can isolate over on the left tackle. That's really all they're trying to do, and he's gone. He just takes off for a casual 20. Nobody can catch him. So this is the problem you face. You see it here. First of all, why even rush over this guy over Quentin Nelson? I mean, so now you take two. So fair enough, you just see the lane is obvious for him. And I don't know what his progression is at this point in his career. Is it, look at one, look at two and go? Or is it, hey, one and I'm out of here because I'm so fast? So this is like the nightmare, right? This is the nightmare scenario. They've done everything else to you. They've run all these plays. They got Jonathan Taylor lined up, and now all of a sudden you run the lead RPO with two blockers, and you got a guy who likes to run through tackles. So, I mean, it's real problems. And I think this is the real question for me is we have Quay Walker, who is in theory, big enough, fast enough, strong enough to take this guy on. But to me, if you spy, you see the separation between their second level defense here. They got five guys across, two guys in the back, and then they got a four-man rush. It's kind of the exact same look I just showed, right? Where that left gap or that B gap on the left side's open up. And you're thinking to yourself, well, okay, should we spy Quay? Like, in other words, is he a good enough passer to recognize? Because you can't spy this guy with the D tackle. No, it's just you're wasting your time. You're not going to spy him. First of all, he'll run through an arm tackle. And second of all, you'll never catch him. So it's like, what do you do? If you spy, then how fast is the coordinator picking up Shane O'Mac, Shane Steichen, UNLV quarterback unit? He'll figure it out pretty fast. That's his job. And there'll be guys open in the middle. But if you don't spy, I mean, this guy's gone. I mean, look what he does to the pitcher there. I mean, that's a good player. So I think the hard part is, what do you do when you just don't have anybody really that can tackle it? This is like, it reminds me of watching when we were playing. It reminds me of looking at Dante Culpepper. And I remember like Kabir, I think it was maybe Kabir, because I think he outweighed Kabir by like 20 pounds. So I remember Kabir like beat, somebody clean and like tried to sack him. And he was like, he just like shrugged him off. And so you're kind of looking at that kind of fella right now, as far as athleticism and size and even more speed. They've got some good weapons. If I'm looking at the game, one thing I didn't put in there that I wanted to highlight was, you don't want to run games against this offensive line. I think this offensive line is much better running games than they are just taking guys one-on-one. I think you're wasting your time. Now, if you want to bring a stunt with a pressure, so you want to bring a dog or a blitz, or a linebacker or a safety or corner, now we're talking something different, right? Because making them throw on time. The question is, when they get there, can they tackle him? Like Keyshawn Nixon last week, it's like, you get there, you got to make the play. Okay. I think they'll probably keep doing that. But as far as just isolating Rashawn Gary on their right tackle, isolating Preston Smith on their left tackle, isolating Kenny Clark on their, as much as possible, on their right guard. Like, can we get one-on-ones and see if they can win with the one-on-ones? Because when you run games on these guys, I mean, Richardson has all day. Everybody thinks games are hard. Games are super easy unless you add some sort of pressure look with it. If you bring pressure with the game, it's difficult because now you're getting picked at different levels by different people you weren't expecting. But straight games take away the creativity of the pass rusher. So it's just like a body moving in kind of a vector. It's not that hard. So and these guys their line's good. So I think that'll be interesting on how they decide to play that. For me, the big things here are, Anthony Richardson can throw the ball on time or even a little bit late. Do you want to plaster their guys and give him a chance to throw it early? Do you want to pressure him and at the very least move him off the spot in hopes that he can't throw these 80-yard bombs? There was another play that I cut out, but he rolled to his right, and he had three levels of guy open, and the third guy was even with the safety running the wrong direction, and he could have had another 80-yard touchdown. I mean, because now he can throw it that far. So what do you do when a guy's got unlimited arm strength and he's got the size and speed? His accuracy isn't, this is not Kirk Cousins, right? He's not that kind of quarterback. But if you heat him up, he will run. You have to make sure you can tackle him. So having a rush plan, what does a rush plan mean? A rush plan is very specifically what is going to happen, let's say, from the outside in with our defensive ends. Are we allowing our defensive ends to run over the top, or are we forcing them to collapse the pocket at the height of the quarterback? Okay, so that's part of your defensive rush plan. Are the tackles is one tackle forced to always stay in the A gap, and then we're going to let the other guy freestyle? Do we want to flush him into something? Do we want to bring pressure in both A gaps and then try to collapse the pocket around him and make him uncomfortable? And we'd rather have him throw the ball under duress than try to run. So there's all these things that go in, because like just trying to four guys trying to beat him clean, I think you can do that, But the caveat is like when we've talked about on the show for years now, if Rashawn Gary is going to continue to, like in years past, play a field for half his pass rush snaps, for me, this isn't going to work against this particular guy. Against a lot of guys, but him in particular, because he's about, I don't know, he's about one or two reads from taking off anyways. So, it's going to be this is going to be a really fun game to watch. I think, honestly, guys, this is going to be fun as hell. I know everybody gets apprehensive about losing your quarterback, and I said this on a show a couple days ago. I played with backup quarterbacks, and some of them are awful because they don't prepare. But I can tell you that it's very easy for a club to rally around a team to rally around a backup quarterback if they know that guy is putting in the effort week in week, game planning, studying hard, being a leader on the field, doing all the right things. It doesn't matter, at least in the short term, that he's not the guy. He's not as good as the guy. He's not, he's not our starting guy. We can all, in some ways, fine tune and elevate our level of play to make sure that his job is easier, whether it's our communication up front, whether it's how we make calls up front, whether it's the precision of our routes, whether it's I spend an extra 30 minutes studying my playbook. So we can do that and create a game plan for Matt LaFleur can create a great offensive game plan that plays to his strengths, probably looking at the pass game first. What do you like to run? And then see if we can build a run game around that pass game. Usually when you're making up plays, at least when I was playing, you'd go, okay, what do we want to do on the ground against these guys? And then how are we going to make that look like the pass? I think in a week like this with a guy who's limited in his time with the Packers, you might want to do the opposite and say, Malik, what do you really like from a route combination standpoint? Like, what plays are you into? And then let's get to those formations and personnel groups, and then let's see what we can run out of it. I think I would do it that way if I was game planning, specifically this week, just because of the situation right. Going to be a fun game. I think the Colts are favored by 3.5 right now, which I think is probably fair given the fact we don't have a starting quarterback. But listen, first game at Lambeau. I think ticket sales went down. I think the prices went down. So if you didn't get one or you can't get one, go get one. And yeah, this will be fun. Let's see what happens across the rest of the league. I know Aaron Jones had a big day for Minnesota. That team's going to be good. O'Connell and Flores, offensive and defensive, head coach, but offensive, defensive court play callers. Is there a better group in the league? Might have the quarterback yet. They may not. But Detroit, probably upper echelon NFC right now, top two. And Chicago, I mean, look, it's not like Caleb Williams is great, but that they've got a little something to them. I think they got to play the Texans this week. They're probably going to take an L on that, quite frankly. I'd be shocked if they didn't. But this NFC North is going to be a good division, and the Packers can't really afford to fall back because the games are going to get easier as we move on here. I think there's going to be a lot of tough games in this division, maybe tougher than it has been in a couple of years. So looking forward to it. Again, if you guys want to tell me what a good job I'm doing or terrible job I'm doing, hit me up on MikeWall68 at Twitter, Process to Perform on Instagram. Please hit the subscribe button, like, review this on the Process to Perform channel. As always, see you next week. Until then, go Pack Go.